down forward, it goes into the great reservoir. It goes right.
Wow. Well, that's aggressive. Why, hello there. Wild and crazy guy. All right. Good evening. Welcome to this workshop session of the Lewisville City Council. It is 6:30 p.m. Monday, April 1st, and we have a quorum. Item A, discussion of regular agenda items and consent agenda items. Council, we can go ahead and take a look through that. We've got a quick presentation of council canines. I think that's going to start rotating with the rest of council after this one. We have a presentation of awards for Parks and Rec Department. We have a Cultural Diversity Award. Consent agenda, approval of minutes, City Council minutes of March 18th. Change order, item 2, change order number 3 with Belt Construction, Timber Creek.
Is that it? Is that the last one?
Item 3, professional services agreement with OCMI. Glad to see that moving.
Yeah, is that part 1, is that the major start of that?
It's the aeration basin. Do you want to talk about that? Is it the primary one, the largest part of the project?
It's one of the major parts of the project, yeah.
That's huge. Item 4, come along with it, CMAR for the Prairie Creek wastewater treatment plant. Item G5, resignation of Lori Wilson. Do we have a recommendation for that one?
Yes, sir. It's Brianne Johnson.
Brianne Johnson?
Brianne Jackson.
Jackson, sorry.
I keep saying Johnson. It's Jackson.
Gotcha.
She'll be great.
Ms. Jackson will be a good addition. After that, we have reports. City Manager, do we have any closed session?
Other than personnel.
So we do have personnel. And that is it for review. If there are no questions or comments, we will go ahead and move back to item B of the workshop, artist recommendation for work of art at the Lewisville Public Library.
Good evening, City Manager, Mayor, Council. Thank you for having me back today to tell you about another art project that the Arts Board has been working on. Again, we're going to share with you kind of background on this project and the artists we've selected, and get any, if you have any concerns or feedback before we bring you the contract in a couple of meetings, hopefully. So, background for this project: it is an indoor work of art that we wanted for the library. We considered several different areas in the library. We ended up selecting that column that you saw on that first slide, leading up to the second floor. We wanted a work of art that would be sculptural in nature, wrap around the column, really draw the eye upward, and excite like thoughtfulness and ideas as you're coming into the library. We liked the idea of light, but it wasn't a requirement in the call. And this project is to fulfill multiple aspects of the public art master plan, such as putting art in city facilities. Let's see. The total budget was funded at originally it was funded at $80,000 during the budget year of FY23 with the public art work plan that the Arts Advisory Board came to you all with, and then the Friends of the Library very generously came to Carolyn and donated $5,000 more. They've bought all the other works of art that are in the library, and so they wanted to have a stake in this one as well. So that brought the total budget available up to $85,000. We have divided that budget. $75,000 will go to the artists, and then we're holding back $10,000 for administrative costs and any site modification help that we may need to offer. So we approached this call similarly to how we approached the Tittle McFadden Public Safety Artist Call. We had committee members from several different areas. So we had 3 Arts Advisory Board members, 3 Library Board members, and 5 staff who participated in this. And then we brought on facilities to participate in the interviews when we were talking some more details about installation and impact on the buildings, things like that, or impact on that location in the building. This call was also published on Cafe, which is what we use for big calls, and this set a new record. If you remember last time I said it was record setting, new record was set for this one. 241 applications were received, a lot. And they really varied in their types of art that people were proposing to do. It was really fun. We actually did a little mini, semi-finalist, mini interviews with 6 artists, brought it down to 3 who we considered the finalists. We interviewed a gentleman named Peter Height out of Houston, a group called Area C Projects, which are artists Eric Carlson and Erica Carpenter out of Providence, Rhode Island, and Michelle Gottlieb out of Natick, Massachusetts, near Boston. We brought the choice of this committee to the Arts Advisory Board back on their February 20th meeting, and the Arts Advisory Board was very good with this recommendation that the committee came up with. That artist is Michelle Gottlieb, and she is a glass artist. She is also an architect, and she's been working with glass for about 20 years, and she has merged her glass making with her water painting that she does. She has developed, well, I'll tell you that in the next slide. Anyway, she has over 50 public art installations across the United States and also in Canada and Finland, and she has one in progress in Iceland. And then you can see a few examples of her work, and the closest one to us is in Innis at the Welcome Center. And I really still want to go out there to see it in person, and there's actually another exhibition installed below it right now during the Bluebonnet time right now in Innis. So she has developed a specialty glaze that she uses on her glass, and it allows the glass to have a very unique reflective properties and projection from the light. And we're going to show an example. We have a physical example here of that. And Carolyn's going to put it on the wall. While she shows us this, Jennifer, if you could jump on.
So you see the shadow of the glass, the light that goes through the glass is one color, and the reflection is a different color below it.
So our piece will contain some of these, and here's a little video too of what it looks like when it is a suspended piece of glass with interacting with the light. Thank you so much. We don't know what previews are going to be shown. Her proposal is largely inspired by the lake and the shape of the lake, and it will include mounted glass on the wall, which will have a different treatment to it, and she sent some samples of that. And the glass that she uses when mounted has different levels of opacity and reflective properties in a different way, so as you walk around the column, this glass won't move, but it will change looks as you're moving around. So you can pass that along if you want. So this is the current imagery from our proposal. So the work will start at the bottom of the column. It will be at a height that is touchable, probably 3 to 4 feet high, which is okay. It can just be wiped clean if they become fingerprints on it. It's very, very strong glass. And it will represent the grasslands and prairie native to the region, along with some wildflowers. And then as we go up the column, it will become the lake, representing the lake. And then water or air, you could interpret it as either thing, are flowing off of the column and under that overhang, over the steps. Those glass pieces, you say, with all the yellows coming off of them, there's going to be directional lighting on them. They're going to be free floating and have that movement like we saw on the video. This is still in a proposal stage. It's likely to change a little bit more. but it's getting close to what I think the committee was looking for.
I think you said it, but I was admiring the
Yes,
class. And I missed it. But the light source that will cause these reflections to come, where is that coming from?
So we will be replacing a few of the canned lights with track lighting. We will be reinforcing that drop ceiling to hold it all securely, because these glasses will just be small pieces, but they have some weight, so we're working with facilities to prep that, but we're just planning on rerouting light that's in the canned lights
So
right now.
that's projecting down, is that still gonna give us a shadow effect up that we're seeing there?
Yes, because of that special glaze she has, it
It'll bounce back.
reflects one color but projects
okay.
down another.
Just like you were showing us.
Yes. Also, Michelle is so wonderful, and she always does a satellite installation. So we were like, wow, a bonus. So she'll bring a few extra pieces, and it's not totally decided, but we are pretty confident that the satellite installation will be up on level 2 and probably on this wall here. Again, we just will need to install a little track lighting, and as visitors go up to that part of the library to use it, they'll be able to see that wonderful color too. So 2 in 1. I love a deal. And she'll also leave some extra pieces of glass, and we of course have these original samples that people can touch and we can keep at the reference desk, and people can check it out. With that, I wanted, and I gave you all a card that she supplied in her proposal packet as well. You can keep that or not, but any questions?
That's beautiful, thank you.
Like
Good job by the committee.
Like the fact that they're, elevating it, that's, I think, a huge deal, bringing that all the way up to the top of that.
Yeah, it's gonna make that entry really, really, really pop. Very excited to see it.
Next, we'll work on our contract and bring it back.
Yeah, what's the timeline?
I'll say 6 months around 6 months. It should be pretty fast.
Okay.
Maybe I should have said 8, but it won't be too long.
I just made it 9, so.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Those that are watching about where the funding comes from this, it's not property tax.
It's hotel.
Oh, yeah, so the funding comes from our hotel occupancy
Yeah, not
tax,
property
which are the
tax.
HOT. So it encourages tourism, and of course.
Certain amount of it needs to be,
Yeah, it
supposed
has
to
to be done on
public
public art. So
Art.
very excited to have that. All
Don't
right,
have any questions?
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next up, item C, workshop session, Southern Gateway update and Texas State Technical College opportunity.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight we will be talking about TSTC and its opportunities in the Southern Gateway. So a little bit of background about TSTC. It was founded in 1965. It's a co-ed 2-year institution offering courses in technical, vocational education, and then also emphasizing courses in workforce development. They currently have 11 campuses across Texas, with Waco being their flagship campus, and then Fort Bend, which I believe some of you were able to tour last year. So aside from regular courses and being able to obtain an associate's degree, they also have a workforce training and continuing education program. So what that is primarily for those that are already in the workforce. It allows the employers to work with TSTC, kind of come up with a customized training plan for their needs, for their employees' needs, and to be able to go through this program, which is a non-credit type of program where they will be awarded either some sort of certification or badges needed in their area of industry. And so there are some of these courses that are offered through that program, just to kind of showcase what kind of courses those are. So legislative history for this. TSTC is authorized to serve the state of Texas pursuant to Chapter 135 of the Education Code. Approved locations are provided for in the code, so any new locations must be approved by legislation. So as of June of last year, HB 3287 authorized TSTC to locate in Denton County, which is why we are talking about this tonight. In their next legislative agenda, TSTC is proposing a bill pattern, which is needed for their operational funding. So they'll be requesting funds to allocate to use for their operation expenses for the campus. Here is just kind of a snapshot of the 2023-2024 cost of attending for tuition. This is based on a student enrolling in 15 credits for both spring and fall. You can kind of see the comparison for residents living on and off campus versus non-residents living on and off campus, just to kind of give a broad picture. And they do have a couple of ways to combat tuition. One of them being traditional scholarships based on financial standing or academic standing, and then working with employers that offer internships, apprenticeships, and tuition reimbursement. A program that TSD also offers is the Money Back Guarantee Program, which is a tuition reimbursement. So the graduates that have met the criteria from this program, if they are not able to secure employment within 6 months of graduating TSTC in their chosen field, they're eligible for tuition reimbursement. So that really just emphasizes their success they have in the programs through TSTC to be able to offer that.
I'm sorry, what percentage of students, that's not cheap, that's A&M fees, same cost of the state school. What percentage of students receive some sort of financial aid, do you remember?
I do not at the top of my head, but we can certainly get that to you. With the money back guarantee, that also only just applies to 8 of their programs. So funding. TSTC is not funded by local taxes, so their primary sources of operating revenues are from tuition and fees, but from federal, state, and local grants. So Denton County does not have a community college tax, therefore the state funds are really needed to create the workforce. And TSTC is the only college in Texas that operates on a model called the Return Value Funding Formula, which basically is that they're not funded on credit hours or classroom hours, but really they rely back on the employment outcomes from those that graduate from TSTC, the students receiving rate-paying jobs to continue to receive the funding from the state as investment to their programs. So we talked to TSTC, they talked a little bit about the Fort Bend campus and what the funding looked like for that campus. So there is about $8 million in acquisition cost for the property, and it was financed by 2 of their local foundations, which were 2 foundations that had been in the community for a while. There were $42 million in total construction costs, and to break that down, $25 million of it was received by the TST Foundation in donations from those 2 local foundations that I talked about, provided over a 10-year period to pay the debt service on the construction loan. $11 million of that was obtained by TSTC through education bonds, through legislation, and then they received $6 million in total from local government agencies, which were the Rosenberg Agency, Development Corporation of Richmond, and Fort Bend County. So the site qualifications, they're looking at 100 to 150 acres of greenfield site located on a major thoroughfare in Denton County with a projected cost of $100 million. And this is a rough estimate. As we kind of get closer to selecting a site, they'll work with the city and of course others to actually fine-tune those details on the cost. So now I will have Richard go through the Southern Gateway history.
Well, when you see the qualifications, our really only suitable site in Lewisville for a potential TSCC campus lies within the Southern Gateway, which is the area where I-35 comes into the city and is intersected by the Sam Rayburn Tollway. The overall Southern Gateway plan was developed in 2014. It includes areas on both sides of I-35E. It includes some of the areas south of the mall, the shopping centers that face I-35 but back up to Timber Creek, the Hebron 121 station development, and then everything east of the Hebron 121 station, which is one of our last remaining greenfields that we have here in the city. The zoning was changed about 9 years ago in 2015, and in kind of conjunction with working with the Huffines group to develop Hebron 121 station, which ultimately was entitled for about 1,800 multifamily units and some commercial in your signature building, kind of located closest to the station. And also part of that zoning, all of the greenfield east of the rail line was also rezoned to MU90. And there's kind of this little list here kind of shows the vision for that area, and that's what was adopted with the zoning. nearly 500,000 square foot of development, and half of that was to be office. That was the vision back then, 10 years ago, and back then there was a little bit more of a demand. Next slide here gives you a little bit more history. Like I said, previous to the MU90 zoning, the site was zoned light industrial and agricultural open space. So over the 10 years, in trying to reach that vision, quite a few proposals have been considered by the city, including various combinations of entertainment venues, sports venues, hotels, resorts, professional office uses, and conference centers. But really, none of those really came to fruition. Huff Hines has been on board with the adopted vision for the past 10 years, even though their primary interest has always been multifamily. Like I said, the original deal that was adopted with the zoning was the residential was to be developed on the west side of the tracks, but the east side of the tracks was really meant to be the crown jewel for that area and to be developed with commercial uses. Of course, COVID-19 happened about 4 years ago, drastically changed the office market, and they own 25 of the vacant acres, the northernmost 25 acres adjacent to Heber Parkway. And they would still like to see multifamily development at that site. Fortunately, the current zoning does not allow that. Staff has recently met with Huff Hines, and they're open to a little bit more of a mixed-use concept. But they would like to see development occur in the immediate future, opposed to a more long-term scenario. We did make them aware of the potential of TSTC, and so they're willing to kind of let us vet that idea before maybe moving on to some other possibilities. This slide kind of shows more of a close-up of the MU90 area. And like I said, most everything on the west side of the rail line has already been developed. The Huff Hines have developed almost all of the phases except their last phase. They've got about 1,500 multifamily units that they've developed, and there's about 300 units left on their very last phase, which is kind of right just south of the station, right next to the utility substation. As far as the eastern side, that's where our opportunity lies. Like I said, Huff Hines owns about 25 acres, kind of on the northern piece on this curve of Heber Parkway. The city owns the rest, and it's approximately about 100 acres. Now, these colors do show some of our challenges. The bright red colors are floodway. We will never be able to do anything with that, develop anything in that. But that does provide some really great natural areas that will complement any type of development that does occur in that area. The yellow areas are the 500-year floodplain, and as you can see, most of that was reclaimed prior to development, and there is, matter of fact, the 25 acres that the Huff Hines owns, they have already reclaimed. They've gone through the loamer and clover process to elevate those properties outside of the floodplain. So their 25 acres is ready for development. The rest of the property, this orange, that is mostly owned by the city, and that could be reclaimed. That is the 100-year floodway, but we will have to still go through the process doing a flood study to determine, exactly, how that would have to be engineered to be elevated, and there would still have to probably be a trade-off with flood storage and so forth. But overall, just looking at the site, there's about 82 acres that could be developed, kind of outlined in orange. And again, that 59 acres where the floodplain floodway is located would have to be left alone. But we also have some other opportunities. I know we're a little shy of the goal of 100 acres. The city also owns 13 acres that are developable on the west side of the tracks at the southern end of the Heber 121 station development. So that could potentially be added. It could be overflow parking, or there could be some type of ancillary uses related to the potential campus. So we're getting a little bit closer to 100 acres. Another idea that staff has kind of noticed is the fact that there's probably another 10 acres underneath the tollway. So there's potentially a partnership could be made with the North Texas Tollway Authority that could also be used for parking. I know a lot of institutions of higher education that are adjacent to a freeway often use parking under those freeways. I think UTSA in San Antonio is one of those. Most of their parking is under I-10 and I-35. So that gets us pretty close to about the 100 acres that we need. But there's other innovative things that could be done. One potential opportunity is the power line easement. There's a large power line easement running parallel to the tracks. And of course, we will not be able to build any buildings. That potentially could be used for parking as well. And I've got an email into Encore to verify, but I believe some of the previous proposals have asked that question. Staff done some research, and we were not able to find any restrictions within those easements. I believe those easements date back to 1924. The map here on the right-hand side, again, just kind of shows the access that this site has. Not only do we have fantastic vehicular access with the intersection of I-35E and 121 being just to the south of the site, we also have great transit access. And we think that's going to become more and more important as the Metroplex continues to grow and add, 1 million people every 5 to 7 years. As you can see, the green line illustrates the current DCTA A-train line, which also ties into the dark green line down in Carrollton. So that is already in place and operating. But the silver line is being constructed by DART as we speak. That will open later this year, and that will be kind of an east-west line that connects DFW Airport eastward over towards Plano. And that will intersect the green line at Old Town Carrollton. So that's going to be a big opportunity for Lewisville. You'll be able to board a train at any of the stations in Lewisville and get directly to DFW Airport with just one change at Old Town Carrollton. So that's going to provide us a tremendous amount of access to DFW Airport. And I also think that that'll be a really big advantage to, for this site for TSDC to consider. Considering that, as transportation costs rise, transit becomes more and more important in the future. And with that, that takes care of my part of the history of the site. Does any of the council members have any questions? All right, I'll turn it back over to Christina.
Okay, so we're going to move forward. We wanted to show the map of TERS 2 and talk about that a little bit, showing that the site is located within TERS 2 and noticing kind of that bigger portion being vacant currently right now. So here is a snapshot of TERS 2 financials. So the city and county obligate 80% of the increment captured by the district through the year 2038. So going back to that map, currently it is underperforming mostly because it is vacant and just not developed right now. So we are paying the developer off early by allocating the city's 50% of revenue to repayment obligations with an estimated payoff by 2026 to 2027. So on the right side, it shows a little bit of that visually. Our current revenues of a little over 1.3 million. The city share at 50% at 666,000, along with the balance due to the developer, bringing the total amount paid to the developer at 1.3 million.
And note that that is decided every year. If we're going to be using the city's money, that extra, with the 50%, we make a decision every year. So right now we don't have a project per se, so we're just paying them off faster so that we would be able to recoup that 100% once they're paid off. But if we had a project, we could shift that 50%.
I think we're going to have to pause it there, because we're about 2 minutes away from the council meeting. So do we want to come back in here after we?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. We'll do it that way. All right. We got 2 minutes. We are going to pause. Yeah, we're going to pause the workshop. We'll come back to it in a moment, and we're going to start up the regular session. right, we're going to call this regular session of the Lewisville City Council to order. We do have a quorum. First up on the agenda tonight is an invocation with Councilmember Green.
Will you please stand with me? Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking for your guidance and wisdom as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion and allow us to grow closer as a group as we make decisions that affect our community. Continue to remind us that all we do here tonight is for the service of our citizens and the betterment of the city that we call home, and give us the discernment we need. I ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Councilmember Jones?
Please join me in the pledges to the American and Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
All right. Good evening, and thank you all for being here. We have a proclamation tonight to declare the month of April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Do I have representatives from CASA? Wonderful. Is it Mimi? There we go. And I've got Debbie and Mimi, so come on up, join me. And I'm going to assume you want to say a few words. So.
Oh, sure.
But I am going to read some whereases, and we can do this as call and response, or I can just go through it. You all let me know. It's however you feel, if the Spirit so compels you. But tonight, the proclamation by the City Council of the City of Lewisville, whereas there were 550 children affected by abuse and neglect served by CASA of Denton County in 2023. And whereas more than 240 volunteers from Denton County work with the organization annually by giving their time to ensure safety for our community's children, and whereas our youngest citizens need and deserve to be surrounded by love and positive relationships while being given guidance and protection, and whereas the City of Lewisville commends the work of CASA of Denton County volunteers and staff in advocating for children during this difficult time in their lives, now therefore I, T.J. Gilmore, Mayor of the City of Lewisville, Texas, and on behalf of the City Council, do hereby recognize the month of April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Lewisville, Texas, and urge all residents to observe the occasion with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Thank you all for what you do. Please tell us a little bit more.
Thank you so much, Mayor and City Council. Thank you, everyone here, for helping us recognize the importance of children in our lives. And child abuse prevention is something we can all get behind. CASA of Denton County has been serving the county for 32 years now, and we've served over 10,000 children from that community. Each year now we serve about 100 children from the City of Lewisville, and we serve all children from the City of Lewisville affected by abuse and neglect. We're appointed by the courts, and we need volunteers who are willing to help us in that fight. It's a wonderful volunteer position. If you know someone who has time and loves children and wants to do something very meaningful, please send them to CASA of Denton County's website to get started with us. We'd love to have more help in this coming year. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think what's important to understand is that, oh, we're going to photo? Yeah, we can do a photo, James. CASA creates a one-stop shop when there's a challenge. We'll smile. And the way their operation functions is that our officers and those children and families don't have to go to multiple locations and relive the trauma over and over again. They can get through that process one time, and it gives our officers a place where they can take these families and these children where they are safe. And it's an amazing organization, so I cannot recommend them enough. If you have a heart for that service, definitely find some time, because unfortunately, neglect and abuse in all of the United States, not just Lewisville, is not going down, and we've got to work on that. So thank you for being there.
Thank
you. Okay, dogs. Yeah. I didn't. Okay, here we go.
Fortunately, no actual
Yep.
dogs.
No actual pups. Go right ahead.
I'm not going to speak.
Oh, we got an app.
Video up.
There's an app for that.
Yeah, always.
So just to let folks know, the Jean Carey Animal Shelter and Adoption Center is currently at capacity for large dogs. That's part of why we're doing this. We're trying to highlight some of those great pets. I have 2 of them, and they are large, 55 and 65 pounds, but they are both just the most loving critters. So here we go. I think we've got a quick... So if you were looking for a great friend, as you can see, Claire, Invicta, Macbeth, all super awesome dogs, great size. You got to add them to your family. They're all here at the animal shelter. And if not one of them, come on down and check out one of our other shelter animals. We've always got them. Unfortunately, it's a real challenge right now, but we would love for you to find somebody to love here. They were great, and folks, we waive everything. It comes with sterilization, a microchip, rabies vaccination, 1 year of city registration. So go on down, find yourself a pet. If the dog's a bit much, there's all sorts of other critters. In fact, there might even be bunnies and guinea pigs and all kinds of stuff. But it's a great facility. If you haven't had a chance, there's another opportunity to volunteer within the community. We have great volunteers out there all the time, but we need to find homes for these critters. All right. Pages. What am I doing? I'm moving. Aaron Frolics, Freilich, and Trent Kelly. Here's our traps, folks. Come on. It's all yours. You get to drive this one.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council of Lewisville. My name is Erin Hart, and I am a past president of the Texas Recreation and Park Society, and I am joined with Trent Kelly, who is also a past president of the Texas Recreation and Park Society. We are here and honored to present 4 awards that y'all's Parks Department received recently at our state institute. So I'll read through these scripts, and then we will hand over the awards and take a photo with all of y'all. The first one is the Maintenance Achievement Award for the Pollinator Median Conversions. This award recognizes creativity or innovation in the development of unique equipment to solve a particular problem, the development of or discovery of a material or chemical to solve a problem, the development and implementation of a system or process to maintain a park, building, pool, or piece of equipment more efficiently or effectively. The City of Lewisville Pollinative Prairie Program was recognized for the 2024 Maintenance Achievement Award. The Preserve and Greenbelt team worked with students and faculty at the University of North Texas Advanced Environmental Research Institute to develop new pollinator prairies that will enhance medians through native beautification. The areas will provide an enhanced quality of life and reduce mowing expenses and emissions. Congratulations on the Maintenance Achievement Award. Next is the Excellence in Planning Award, the Healthy Infrastructure Plan. This award recognizes one parks, recreation, or leisure service organization's planning project which displays a high degree of professional analysis, quality planning principles, or organizational, city, county, or statewide values. The City of Lewisville's Healthy Infrastructure Plan, also known as the Explore More Lewisville, aims to provide residents with healthy opportunities to play, explore, and connect. The plan will guide equitable development of parks, recreation, trails, open space, and tree canopies in Lewisville for the next 2 decades. Congratulations on the Excellence in Planning Award. Next is the Educator Outstanding Award, recognizing Dr. Lauren Fisher of the University of North Texas. This award is presented to a candidate who conducted research that contributed new knowledge to the field and actively disseminated this information to parks and recreation practitioners through writing or presentations. Dr. Fisher was nominated for her work in Lewisville's Healthy Infrastructure Plan, her presentations on park development equity at state and national conferences, and her mentorship of young professionals and urban planners. Dr. Fisher is an outstanding urban policy and planning professor at the University of North Texas and serves as the Assistant Director of the Advanced Environmental Research Institute, fostering interdisciplinary research advancements. Congratulations to Dr. Fisher. And last, and more importantly, is a huge award that we honor statewide, and this is the Texas Gold Medal Award Class 2. The Texas Gold Medal Award are modeled after those of the National Recreation and Parks Association. These awards honor departments for excellence in the field of recreation and park management for the past 3 years. This prestigious award recognizes outstanding achievements in public park and recreation management across the state of Texas. These agencies have demonstrated excellence in long-range planning, resource management, and innovative service delivery coupled with fiscally sound business practices. These agencies have not only met but exceeded the high standards set by TRAPS, contributing significantly to the enhancement of parks and recreation experiences for their residents. Congratulations to the City of Lewisville for the Texas Gold Medal Class 2.
Quick word of thanks to Aaron and Trent for coming out. They're part of our past President's Council and always do a great job of presenting, helping communities celebrate the awards that they were presented by the Texas Recreation and Park Society. And I know that sometimes people get tired of hearing about all of our awards, but not everybody got to participate in the awards ceremony, and we wanted to make sure that members of our Parks Board and our team that couldn't join us and the City Council and our teammates on the City of Lewisville got to celebrate this with us today. So thank you very much. It's very much a team award. We couldn't do it without y'all.
Mayor, can we talk to them? Can we say anything to them?
Say something. I'm not going to stop you.
Parks Board and UNT and our partners. As some might think this is a continuous dog and pony show out there, this is an award that is very, very much earned. Every award that we have has been very much earned, and we should showcase it continuously in all the other awards that she will have coming and the department will have coming. We're going to showcase them too and congratulate y'all.
And I think what gets lost sometimes in the shuffle here is that people consider parks just a space in the city that they might or might not use. Our department is a piece of government that actually gets out and engages the community. Not every piece of government can do that. And quite frankly, our Parks Department has only really started doing that under Stacy's watch. And it's been amazing to see as we continue to do the outreach. It's a way to get engaged with the community that's very, very different. And it's, I think creating more engagement and more love in the city, which is awesome. But that's due to great leadership and great teamwork. You guys do an amazing job over there. Next up, I've got our Arts Center. We've got a presentation of a first place award for the 2024 NLC Cultural Diversity Awards. Denise? Oh, do you need to spin it? Up.
Thank you. Well, Mayor and Council, thank you for having us. We wanted to share about one of the public art projects that recently won a first place award for the National League of Cities Cultural Diversity Award. And I wanted to say, we as a city have been working for many years, lots of different departments to engage with our Chin community, our neighbors. And this project was one way that the Arts Department wanted to try to do that. And the Public Art Master Plan calls for creating culturally significant works of art. And we started this process about 2 years ago, and it just was installed in December of last year. And here with me is Sarah Hicks, the chair of our Arts Board, and she's been on the Arts Board for a special 4th term. So this is her 8th year on the board, so she's seen this project from the beginning. So I do have a quick video to show you about the installation first. So tell us a little bit about this particular stone that you chose for our project.
This is a dolomitic limestone. It comes from Minnesota. It's just a really hard stone. It has different surfaces. It's sort of mottled with white, but I knew this lacy quality gave it a very delicate look, but it's a really rugged stone. It could take anything. When it came to my studio, the whole block, which also contained the benches that were part of this block, weighed upwards of 18,000 pounds. Wow. And as it sits here, it's 7,000 approximately, and the benches are probably about, anywhere from 300 to 500 pounds each.
We're very interested to hear about your tools that you use.
Okay. So I put this chainsaw down into the stone and I kind of seesaw it all the way across the full length.
And then you use files and
Well, after the chainsaw, then I use grinders. I have 9-inch diamond blades, and I cut, and then I use, believe it or not, I still use a hammer and a chisel. And that's my favorite, that sound, I just love it.
Our community is so grateful to the city of Lewisville because of this sculpture. We are so grateful to the city that we are recognized as a people, a growing community. We will remember your grace to our people.
Thank you, Steve, for making that great video. So as you can see, the community has really embraced this work. Has surpassed our expectations, I think. The event was so wonderful. Over 100 people came. They had given their ideas along the way, and then they really came out, and everyone wanted their picture with the work and with Madeline, and it was a really lovely day. So we wanted to apply for this award, and we actually won. So this is the statue, the award itself from National League of Cities for cities of 50,000 to 200,000 in population. So this work has been recognized. So thank you for your support in that, and we're moving on to the next. So thank you.
Really great job, and I'm super appreciative of the process because it's what allowed the community to build that and create those connections. Without that process, we'd just be plunking something down and hoping. With the process, we put something out that absolutely creates a space where that community feels appreciated and engaged. So thank you. Next up, Visitors Forum. Speakers must address their comments to the mayor rather than to individual council members or staff. Speakers should speak clearly and state their name and address prior to beginning their remarks. Speakers will be allowed 5 minutes for testimony. Speakers making personal, impertinent, profane, or slanderous remarks may be removed from the meeting. Unauthorized remarks from the audience, stamping of feet, whistles, yells, clapping, and similar demonstrations will not be permitted. And in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the City Council is restricted from discussing or taking action on items not listed on the agenda. Action can only be taken at a future meeting. All right, with that, I have 3 requests. Sonia Calicott. And Ms. Calicott, if you could please state your name and address for the record.
Sonia Calicott. Address is Evergreen Apartments, 415 South Garden Ridge, Lewisville, Texas, 75067.
When you're ready.
Mary Gilmore, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I will read this because if not, I'll make it too emotional. I have lived at Evergreen Apartments in Lewisville for 3 years. I'm 83 years old and drive almost everywhere. I take care of a little boy in the mornings and I leave at 6 a.m. On Wednesday, March 12th, it will be three weeks tomorrow. I was driving home on Garden Ridge, driving south, 1 block past Main Street. I was in the left turn lane going to my residence. I stopped at the left turn lane. Another white car facing me going the opposite way north was also stopped. 1 car went past that car and it looked clear. I started turning left and there was another car that I did not see. I was only going about 10 miles an hour and the other lady said she was going 35 in a 40 zone. We collided and it pushed my car up against a utility pole and it hit such a force that it threw my glasses off into the floorboard of the passenger side. The police were there almost immediately and the paramedics came in a few minutes, a little while later, and they couldn't get me out of the car because it was up against the utility pole and the other side was caved in of the car. They kept trying to get me to crawl out, or to try to climb over the console and over the seat in the passenger side and crawl out, and I couldn't. I hit the steering wheel, and the airbags did not go off because I was only going 10 miles an hour, but it hit such force that I hit the steering wheel and the seat belt pushed me, and I had a lot of injuries and broken ribs and black and blue and breasts. I usually am walking now with a cane and I forgot it. That's a very dangerous intersection as it's 3 lanes on Garden Ridge going north, 2 lanes plus a left turn, and then 2 lanes going south with a left turn, and then 2 lanes going out of Evergreen, Lewisville, one car going in, 1 car going out. And just across, if we went straight across from Lewis to Evergreen, there's 2 more lanes, so that makes it 10 cars. Now, usually there's not 10 cars there, but there is, right, if they're going south, they make a U-turn going towards McDonald, and 19 out of 20 cars make a U-turn, and then they go into McDonald's, and so it backs traffic up and makes it very dangerous. And there are a couple of guys where I live, I don't really know them, but they are have wheelchairs, electric wheelchairs, and they go out to go to Starbucks or to McDonald's and don't even have any kind of reflectors. At 6 a.m. when I leave, it is very dark. That's a dangerous intersection, and I've heard there have been quite a few accidents. I feel lucky. I had very good treatment. The only way I got out was the paramedics had me lay my seat back, and they put a blanket under me and pulled me out. 2 cars were total, and it was really bad, and I'm still recovering, but I'll get there. But I really was afraid I was going to be in heaven with my son, and I hope something could happen there. No U-turn or caution lights or something, because that goes on all the time. Not 10 lanes all at the same time, but that is just a very busy place. And one time it was so busy and I was going out, I couldn't even turn left to get to where I was going, towards Grapevine Mills Mall, but that's not where I was going. But anyway, I had to turn and go right on Main Street in order to go down and turn around just to go back the direction I needed to go. So I did not realize there had been a lot of accidents. Nancy will tell you more about that. So thank you for listening to me.
Thank you for your insights. We appreciate it. Next up, we have Ms. Judy Hammer. And name and address for the record, please.
This thing moves. My name is Judith Hammer. I live at 415 South Garden Ridge Boulevard. Good evening, Mayor Gilmore and Lewisville Council and staff. The visitor forum allows me a chance to address the problems of the senior pedestrians crossing streets and intersections. There is a need to have a flashing yellow at senior residential entrances and exits. Also, many senior apartments need flashing yellow crosswalks across major boulevards and streets. Unfortunately, there is another serious problem at Garden Ridge in Maine. Going south, cars are constantly making U-turns and heading north. They must be careful. When I first came to Evergreen, I had a great big black truck. And when I went out the first week, I was just planning to go north, turn right on the right lane, and a U-car, much bigger than my truck, was standing to make a U-turn. I thought he was coming into my residence. He turned right here and he was getting ready. He was too big to get in the first lane. He has to go into my lane. Unfortunately, I saw that. A lot of people aren't so careful. It would have been a good accident. That's a typical thing, almost every day there. Last week, a friend was trying to turn right, and U-turned. Driver totaled her car. Many Evergreen residents walk across the 4 lanes. I did that for a while. My kids got really upset. I'd stop traffic. I'm not afraid of doing that. I used to do a lot of things when I was a teacher, when there were accidents. People, big cars, trucks don't like to stop. They'll go around you. There's walkers, scooters, a short crosswalk with flashing yellow lights would decrease the injuries. We are asking the city manager department to request information from the engineering department to analyze the accident reports at Garden Ridge in Maine. Also, we would appreciate the police department to collect accident data at Garden Ridge and Maine also. Concerning the pedestrian accidents, the city council request would have to have addressed the transportation department to trigger the process. A formal process is required to implement any changes. The city of Hoboken in the state of New Jersey has become a model for roadway safety. The city of 60,000 have not had a single automobile, occupant, or bicyclist or pedestrian death in 7 years. The city is fully committed to Vision Zero, guidelines adopted by numerous cities, states, and nations. Safety plans include at least some kind of daylighting, slower speed limits, staggered traffic lights, additional steps of cordoning, a street corner, where they widen the curbs and shorten the crosswalks. This allows more visibility for the driver to see the pedestrian. In conclusion, I wish to address Mr. Harris III, the city secretary, Mr. Erb, the director of finance, Mr. Salmon, the engineer. I would earnestly request your assistance in considering an additional ordinance amending the Lewisville City Code, Section 1587, see limitations on turning around, prohibiting U-turns, including Garden Ridge and Maine. Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy Sansom?
Good evening to you, Mayor, and to all of you wonderful councilmen and Claire and all the staff that work so hard to help us out. My name is Nancy Sansom. I've lived at Evergreen at Lewisville for 6 years. I'm 83 years old, and I'm the coordinator and spokesman for Seniors United Helping Seniors. Hi. Oh, thank you. Many of our supporters are present behind us. If you see all the blue shirts, okay, good. It's our pleasure to have met with
Mayor Gilmore last week to address the needs of seniors to be represented by a new Lewisville seniors of Lewisville to be representing a possible advisory board. We feel there's a strong need right now for it. We really do. We have many unique challenges that are different than other parts of the population, and that includes the usual, which you know, the skyrocketing rent, transportation, utilities, and food sources. Another issue is the large gap between government nonprofit subsidies and reaching out to those seniors most in need. That presents an ongoing challenge, and they just sort of slip through the cracks. The discrepancy can be addressed and may be assisted by this new formation of an advisory senior board. In other cities, we have researched and talked to the senior advisory boards there from Grapevine, from Garland, and Southlake. So we've done our homework, and we seek a voice and representation such as other cities have already developed. Last week at our Evergreen general meeting, I'm sure you all know Ron Lucy. He's the governor-appointed director of people with disabilities. His outreach person came and met with us last week at our general meeting, and he gave us this April honoring Fair Housing Month. In honor of this being Texas Fair Housing Month. We applaud the governor's efforts to recognize the important rights of all Texas residents. However, one item left off this award plaque was not mentioned. Many thousands of seniors are increasingly unable to find any fair housing at any price they can afford. If some action is not taken soon, many of us will be leaving our senior communities with nowhere to go. We have been working with Senator Tan Parker to promote a two-tiered rent schedule through HUD and Texas Housing. That's coming slowly. It's got to go through legislation, and we just keep encouraging him to help us out there on that on a state level. Though this will involve heavy legislation lifting and involvement, at least this would allow many seniors to remain in their communities at an affordable below market price rate. In closing, other Evergreen speakers have shared their concerns with you regarding the dangerous death trap in front of our property. And I hope you will consider that. And I know we've been working with Claire Powell, and we'll be meeting with her staff in a couple weeks. And that because it's putting us in a highly unsafe and dangerous situation. I myself saw one person killed, and there's been 2 others that have been. And also, Ashley from your staff, Claire, is looking at the police reports for the last 18 years to see what other fatalities or accidents there were there. So we want to thank you again for your concerns, patience, and all you've done for us, your time and effort in considering our pleas for safe street crossings and the need to establish a Lewisville Senior Advisory Board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you very much. What's your name? Stacy. What's your name? Stacy.
What a great crew of advocates we have there. I appreciate you all coming out. I mean, it takes volunteers. It takes time. It's not all folks sitting up here. We have to hear it from your perspective. So thank you for that. All the following items, item F, consent agenda. All the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be self-explanatory by the council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so requests. For a citizen to request removal of an item, a speaker card or e-comment must be filled out and submitted to the city secretary. City secretary, do we have any e-comments?
No, Mayor, we don't.
All right. Council, if there is no discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item G5, regular hearing, consideration of acceptance of the resignation of Lori Wilson, place number 4 on the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee, declaring a vacancy exists for place number 4 on the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee, and an appointment to place number 4 on the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee. A resignation was received from Lori Wilson, place number 4 on the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee. 6 applications have been submitted meeting the qualifications for service in this position. It's recommended that the City Council accept the resignation, declare a vacancy, and consider an appointment to the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee as set forth in the caption above. And before we do that, I want to thank Lori. I know she's had a job change, which is great for her. It's a wonderful opportunity, but it's unfortunately limited her amount of time to participate. So we really appreciate your time and service on the board, Lori, and thank you for that. Let's see here. We do have a council review team and city staff have recommended Breanne Jackson for this position. Unless there are any questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion. Need a little bit more than that, Ronnie. Sorry. Need to accept
I
the...
move to accept Ms. Wilson's resignation from the CDBG board and to appoint Breanne Jackson.
And declare a vacancy?
And declare a vacancy.
Awesome. All that for place number 4?
Yes, please.
All right. I have my motion. Do I have a second?
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. Council, if you would please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item H, reports. Reports about items of community interest regarding which no action will be taken. Councilmember Meredith, would you mind?
Not at all. Some library activities for the week. ABC's Aging for Adults, Tuesday, April 2nd, 6 to 7 p.m. No registration required at the Crawford Meeting Room. TAG, Teen Advisory Group for teens aged 13 to 18, Thursday, April 4th, 6:30 to 7:30. No registration required. Teen Point, second floor. Story Stroll, Story Time at Central Park for families with children of all ages, Friday, April 5th, 9 to 9:30 a.m. No registration required at Central Park at 899 South Edmonds Lane. That's all I've got.
Councilmember Troyer?
Okay, yes, Mayor. I have a number of items for the Lewisville Grand Theater. First of all, performances. Dear Edwina, presented by our Productions Theater Company, April 4th through the 6th, with 2 performances on the 6th. Capelia, presented by Lake Cities Ballet, April 5th through the 7th. Beethoven's Fifth and Mendelssohn's Violin Concerto, presented by Lewisville Lake Symphony on April 12th. Texas Tunes, the Derailers, presented by the City of Lewisville on April 13th. And as always, the acoustic jam sessions on Friday evenings from 6 to 9, presented by the Visual Art League of Lewisville. Our activities, we have the Val Art Talk, Astrophotography, presented by the Visual Art League of Lewisville on April 9th. And I'm assuming that part of that will involve the eclipse, which celebrates my birthday, by the way. We have several exhibitions going on. Beauty and the Unexpected, presented by the Visual Art League of Lewisville through April 13th. And Lewisville Elementary School's East Exhibition, presented by Lewisville Independent School District through April 13th. And that is my report.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. City Attorney? City Secretary?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to remind the public that we are in the midst of election season. So we do have 2 elections coming up, one a special election for our bond program, as well as a candidate election, and that the last day to submit your voter registration is April 4th. So please contact your local county elections administrators if you're in Dallas County or Denton County and get registered to vote. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
No report, Mayor.
No report, Mayor.
Nothing. Lake level?
Lake level is 100%, and based on the radar, about to be filling.
All right, Jim? Chief?
Just wanted to make sure everybody knows they're invited to our push-in ceremony for the new Rescue Engine 2 tomorrow at 11, Fire Station 2, 702 East Main.
Chief?
Just quick observation. If you haven't seen the goats, I think they're still there at Bill Weaver now. Is that correct? Have they left over? Still, and they're doing a great job. Went out there and we looked, and it's amazing what those goats can do. There's probably a couple dozen. It looks like they're all over the place back there.
There were 206.
Oh. I saw a couple. They must be hiding up in the trees or something. So that's what's going on. But anyway, it's a really neat thing to look. Go out there. There's selfie spots. So please take a chance and go out there and take a selfie with the goats. But it's a great program. Very excited about that. And that's all I have.
Yeah. Just for clarity, Stacy, do you want to clarify what's happening with them right now?
Yeah, the goats are now serving as lifeguards and rec attendants, not just April Fools. If you follow our social media, you'll see that. No, they're done with their job and have moved on to
Greener pastures?
well, invasive pastures in other cities. So,
Well, hopefully we'll get to see them again.
right.
Councilmember Green?
Yeah, well, Patrick stole my thunder. Everybody loved the goats, by the way, and I did too. My dog did not, but, so I know we've got some weather coming, so I'll keep it brief. I was just going to mention that we have a neighborhood services survey that is out right now. I took it last week. It's super fast to take it, so go take it. You'll get information about what programs we have. There were some things in there that gave me some good ideas too, so please go take it.
Councilmember Jones?
All right, since Councilwoman Kate is rushing us, I just want to say, we've just ended Women's History Month, and on my social media, for most of the month, I was trying to highlight women who are Lewisville famous, who are locally famous, who I have the fortune of knowing, who work for the city, and I know personally, and teachers who taught me. I didn't get around to do every day because work, but I just want to just say thank you to all the great women out there who are leading us in our community, in our city, and in our homes as well. Just to give them a shout out. I know normally you hear about all the famous women who've made history, but I like talking about women who are making history right now. And that's all I have.
Thanks, sir.
Brandon, that is so sweet. And y'all did not hear me rushing him at all. I want to say that I was so excited last week to look out my front door and see a goat standing in the middle of my street. I thought one of the goats got loose. But he lives there. So I'm doubly just really excited. So not in the street, but he lives adjacent to it. But nothing further.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
City Manager? All right. Eclipse on the 8th, come on down. I think we have glasses. I saw some really cool squeezy stress balls that I think for Lewisville swag, they look like the little moon. So there's some interesting stuff coming up. But folks, I appreciate y'all. It's a beautiful time of year. Keep your eye to the ground. Keep Lewisville Beautiful has their cleanup coming up this month. So I would love for y'all to get out there. I'm out there almost every year picking up trash and meeting residents. So it's always a great time and the weather's beautiful. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move back into our workshop session. We still have a few more slides to cover on that. So we're going to go back to the workshop room.
I'm online.
All right. I think we're ready to continue.
We'll move on to the next slide then. So we just wanted to give a really quick snapshot of the current campuses that housing. So this is across a few of their campuses they have. And the rates that we have for the dorms rates and the apartments, that is double occupancy versus single occupancy. And then the apartments for the 2-bedroom and 4-bedroom at their Marshall campus, that is between spring semester and fall semester. And then also just showcasing that Waco has their traditional Griffith Hall campus as well as community family housing. So you can kind of see the difference depending on number of bedrooms per month for full-time students. And just to get an idea of what that looks like. So putting that on the map for Lewisville, what we wanted to show was kind of the variety of housing for near the site as well as across Lewisville. So on the map, the push pins are our multifamily housing. The yellow is the traditional multifamily housing, and the blue push pins are our affordable multifamily housing options with the future PFC that is coming online. So this just kind of gives a general idea that we do have a lot of variety in housing availability, from multifamily to single-family townhomes, and then of course having that housing around all 3 DCTA stations. So enrollment numbers for TSTC. On average, there is about a 45-minute commute shed from the campus, so we just wanted to put that on the map. So 45 minutes covers a lot of area, a lot of different communities outside of Lewisville. And they gave us their fall enrollment numbers for 2023, broken down by some of the campuses, so you can see again the numbers for enrollment and students that are attending classes there.
Can we see not just the numbers, but the percentage to full? So 380 to have 4,000 spaces is not great. 380 to have 309 spaces is fantastic.
Right, percentages.
Yeah, thank you.
I think it's also interesting to note that a lot of the other cities where they are located are more rural than Lewisville. So this is a little bit outside of the box from what they normally would do.
Yeah, we would be the biggest county by population that they would be existing in, is my understanding.
The other interesting thing that's part of that is when you look at in that enrollment area, that 45-minute travel area, you see how many, you think about how many jobs are located in that area as well. So it's not necessarily their model in the past, but I think we can make an argument that it's an opportunity.
Are actually moving on to a little bit of the job creation and talking a little bit about that as well. But taking it back to donations for TSTC, when we talked to them, they talked about the cities and the communities that are located within the county for each of the campuses and how they partnered with those communities and those cities. And so what we wanted to show was all of the cities and communities that are located in Denton County, just to show the future partnership that we can have with those cities and counties for this particular campus.
Potentially. We haven't approached anybody yet.
Potentially. And then for the job creation on site, they gave kind of a number of about 60 jobs that are created on site between faculty and staff, with additional 20 to 30 additional jobs that have statewide oversight. So some great job creation just on site for the campus. So job placements are usually within close proximity to the campus. So on this map, we did a 30-minute commute shed just to kind of show these cities a little bit closer to Lewisville. and just kind of, we'll go through a little bit more of job placement and job creation. But we took this from their website, just showing that over fiscal year 2023, throughout their campuses, there is a little over 1,500 jobs earned by the TSTC graduates, as well as 1,000 or so companies that are hiring TSTC graduates, and a little over 1,700 of the jobs that are posted in their Hire TSTC, which is their job portal that is available to the alumni, the graduates, and the employers. Just to kind of emphasize just the activity advertising for TSTC. Again, going back to Lewisville, we wanted to showcase not only some of the specific businesses that are located in Lewisville, but also highlighting just the variety of the industries that we have already here. So that is looking at the landscape of industries from transportation and logistics to aerospace manufacturing, medical lab services, equipment manufacturing. So really just a good overall variety of the different industries that those that go into TSTC are able to kind of come out into the workforce for. So this is a newer piece of information that we received. This is from the Dallas Regional Economic Development Guide. They gather data from all of the communities within the DFW. We have a really great ad for Lewisville in it. But this is just a kind of a heat map showing the major manufacturing operations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And they say that DFW has more manufacturing activity than any other metro area in Texas. So this graph right here shows Dallas at 31%. Versus the rest of Texas, and then Houston behind it. So this is the proposed site right there. So we're very close to all of the manufacturings, of course, having those in our city. But it just gives a good overall vision of what the rest of the landscape looks like that is within and outside of Lewisville. And down here, just to call out, they did a couple of occupations where they took some information, and they were able to kind of highlight some of these. And so for industrial engineers, there is a little over 8,600 of these jobs that are in this industry, earning a median hourly earning of $48. And then industrial machinery mechanics, again, a little over 10,000 jobs with a median hourly earning of $28. So overall, just a really great landscape for the manufacturing industry outside of Lewisville. So the benefits of TSTC. Although the campus would be non-taxable, there are a lot of various intangible benefits. And I went over some of that in the slide previously, talking about the workforce. But having this campus in Denton County would just make our workforce more attractive, hopefully meaning that we spend less in incentives because there's a lot more pool to come into the area. Business retention, it's a great resource for our employers that are looking to hire more of the workforce that needs this kind of training and training skill set. And then specifically to the site, the proximity to the mall and everything that is going on with it, just supporting the local businesses and the increase in sales tax and landfill closing to convert to a park space, hopefully. And then the potential increase with the DCTA ridership. That also will help us as we strengthen our partnerships with the Lewisville Area Chamber, the school district, Workforce Solutions, and other nonprofit organizations to help develop the workforce in our area. So now we are asking about feedback and next steps. So as we've gone through this presentation, and Richard had kind of gone through the Southern Gateway, you notice that TSTC is very different from our Southern Gateway. So our question tonight is if City Council, if you would like for us to continue to pursue our conversation with TSTC, and what those next steps look like are for city staff to present the site to TSTC, re-engage the conversation with the Huffines as well and their partnership, and then bring all of the stakeholders to the table to further our discussions.
So I'll jump in. Yes, yes, and yes. Having gone down to the school in Fort Bend to see the flagship school, it will help to get something that we don't have here for those jobs, those blue collar, high paying jobs that people can get that that isn't available now. So this is another opportunity to add different type of education. We have our universities, we have our junior college here. This is a different type of education. This is a hands-on education, and they get paid to get people jobs. So I think this is a kind of a no-brainer. I think we definitely have to re-engage with the HUD funds and kind of reconfigure how we use the land over there to make sure we have that 100 acres that they need. It works with DCTA. It'll connect, once the Cotton Belt gets in, it'll connect us, because I can't wait for the Cotton Belt so I can get to the red line to go to work. But it'll connect us to a lot more people via bus via train or driving. And it's at a pretty really good location, I think. So I say yes. We need to do all of the above and try to get a good package for them.
Did Yes.
So I just had a couple questions. So first, when I think about the green space that we have that is rapidly shrinking, my first thought's always around parks. What are we doing? Stacy, can you talk about the park opportunities over there?
Yeah, so we have the kayak launch, which is between where the river is and where the train line is. So we've got that. The side across the train is considered a park desert, but in some of the previous conversations we've had is figuring out how packaged with this we could help solve that. So I think it does provide actually some opportunities that would come up sooner than they would ordinarily for us.
Yeah, I was gonna also mention, so to develop this piece of property, we're actually gonna have to reclaim it from the floodplain. A lot of our property that's there, Huff Funds is already out of the floodplain. So there would be a digging of a deeper water area out there, and then the idea is to, if we're partnering with them in some capacity, is there a trail system that can go around that area, tie into her system, her trail system, those types of things. So I think there's opportunity, it just hasn't been negotiated yet.
The 18 trail runs right through there too, so.
Then I'm going to come back a little bit. I like the idea a lot. I went down and saw the campus a while. And I remember 40 years ago going to my friend Tom Heath from Mount Wilson High School, driving to Waco to see the campus, and he took the entrance exam for TSTC 40 years ago. So they've been around a long time. I would like to understand the enrollment percentage still a little more and make sure that we're not, those are state study. But short of that, I like the idea, I like the concept.
Can you clarify your question on the enrollment?
Yeah, so if they're going through, and I saw those numbers very widely, from 300 to 4,000, I'm assuming those are all different sized campuses. So if they're only at 40% capacity, I might think about the use of that land differently than that 95% capacity.
Yeah, I'm definitely for it. I mean, I'm in the construction industry. I see the need right now. There's not enough workers. Every time you turn around, it's like, don't have enough people. This is something that's sorely needed, not only here, but the whole Metroplex, so.
The whole United States.
Yeah, so it's, we definitely need this.
Sounds like you got consensus. Thank you, staff. Appreciate the digging into it. All right, with that, I think, Liz, do we have to go out to get closed?
We have executive
Can we just move to closed session from here? That sounds like a yes. We just do it from here.
Probably just for the viewers. I don't know, is this televised?
Yeah,
Because it stops and it has to start back up.
Yeah. Let's just go up there.
Yep. There's like.
All right, we're back in a regular session, having finished with the workshop. We are now going to move into closed session in accordance with Texas Government Code Subchapter D, Section 551.072, Real Estate Property Acquisition, Section 551.087, Economic Development, Deliberation regarding economic development negotiations, and Section 551.074, Personnel regarding City Secretary Thomas Harris III. We are now going into closed session. All right, we're going to be back in a regular session, as there's no action to be taken from tonight's closed session and no further work to be done on tonight's agenda. We are adjourned.